Hi, my name is Jihan, and I am addicted to the stock market. March was a pretty dramatic month for me. I got COVID, which I am getting better with. Because of COVID, I was quarantined, and because of that, I started binge watching Attack on Titan, also Succession, because all my friends were obsessing over it. But most importantly, because of quarantine and because of other different reasons that I'll get into, I started day trading. Let's just say that I got addicted and I hate it. And just talking about it kind of makes me want to cry, but I'm gonna go through exactly what happened. Now I have stocks. Before I started day trading, I was already kind of into the stock market. I traded here and there, but I wasn't like constantly being updated about what's happening. I was like, oh, these are good stocks. I'll buy them and just keep them for the long term. See what happens later on, like years from now. So there was no real constant daily tension for me. But I started amassing cash, just stopped investing because I'm planning a budget for the next year or so. I'm going to another country to make music and go see shows. So obviously I need the cash right now. And suddenly, live shows start to get announced for the next year or so. And some of these shows are pretty expensive, especially the two shows that sort of initiated this whole day trading addiction for me, which were these wireless music festival dates and lineup that was happening in the UK. One of the headliners for the wireless music festival, at least one of the weeks that it's gonna be held in, was Tyler the Creator, and for another week there was SZA. And those two people I love, and I was like, oh, I have to see them. I need to see these people, but it's so expensive. Just a day pass was so expensive. And so instead of being a rational, responsible human being and being like, well, guess that's out of my hands, I can't afford it, maybe some other time, instead of doing that, I decided, well, why don't we just make some quick cash from day trading, And the reason I thought this way was because I kind of already knew about day trading. You get into the stock market, you buy a stock, and when you get enough profit, you immediately sell it. You get into a volatile stock, obviously. Not a stock that's just like moving 5% that day. No, a stock that's moving like 30%, 40%, 100% that day. You get in, you get out, you get your profit, and you go home. And I knew the techniques, I knew the strategies. I wasn't really sure if I really wanted to do it, but I wanted to see Tyler the Creator and SZA so bad, so I was like, alright, fuck it, let's do it. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh boy, this is not gonna end well. Is that why he's making this video? Because he lost like a fucking hundreds of dollars in the stock market. But here's what happened. I saw a stock that was surging in the pre-market, which is, the market before the market actually opens. I bought the stock when it slightly opened below the opening price, and it was literally 50 cents per share. It was a fucking penny stock. I bought it at 50 cents per share. It went up to 56 cents per share. Sold it at 56 cents, and I suddenly had $200. Just like out of nowhere. It was more than enough for Tyler. And instead of walking away with that money and just being, okay with just seeing Tyler, 2 days later, I saw a similar situation happening in the pre-market. Did the exact same thing. This time, I made $220. So, now I had enough money for Tyler, SZA, and some change left afterwards. And when these two events happened, the dopamine rush was fucking real as shit. And, I thought I was a goddamn genius. Suddenly, I was just like lying on my back, and suddenly I made like fucking $500. And this started a month-long obsession over day trading. And most of the time, I did make money. And sometimes I lost money. The most money I made within a day was $400, which was shocking to me. Like, I'm not a millionaire. guys. I'm not rich. So making $400 by just lying on my back and just being lucky, that's huge. The most I lost in a day was $400. So that's just out the window. But when that day happened, when I lost $400, that was a soul-sucking feeling. Because suddenly, you know, I felt stupid because I made this money and then I just lost it. I could have just had it. I could have just walked away. I could have just had that money. I could have been satisfied and I could have just stopped there. But no, I had to go a step further and just lose it. I felt like a fucking idiot. And then, you know, that little feeling starts building up inside you where you start thinking like, oh, I should make that money back. I know how to do this. I mean, shit. I made $400 before. I can make $400 fucking again. And that is when the obsession became very toxic. I think at this point I want to start talking about why the addiction actually starts, because there are multiple reasons why. And it's not just because you make a quick buck. I think one of the first reasons is because you start rationalizing, which is, you know, I guess it's very obvious, but this is how the rationalizing works. You know, obviously, if you're addicted to gambling at a casino, that's kind of harder to rationalize. And there are no real strategies at the casino. If you start, like, counting cards or whatever, they kick you out. And you can definitely... There's literally no strategies to a slot machine. That's purely luck. There are... And I know I'm going to sound like an addict here, but there are technically strategies and patterns to stocks, and they're not foolproof. And because if they were foolproof, then everybody would be fucking millionaires. But as long as you don't get too greedy, you can make money. And because of this, you start rationalizing. And you also start getting desperate. And whenever somebody's like, well, you know, you still walk away, it's not foolproof, you know, it's a lot of it is still luck, you start saying, you don't understand. I have a plan. I know how this works. And then you just keep doing it. I think the second reason is really just like the chemical reaction that actually happens in your brain, like the physiological stuff. Like around the time the stock market opens, my brain just starts whirring. I get excited. I actually get dizzy because all the blood is rushing to my head. Like even now, as I'm like talking about the stock market, my hands are sweating. It's shaking. I'm getting excited. It's like an actual chemical addiction. It's like I'm fucking, you know, hooked up on fucking crack. Beyond the strategy thinking, I think the biggest problem is that when you start getting into day trading, you start thinking that you're actually good at this, because you might be thinking while watching this video that I'm making this video because I lost all the money that I made. Maybe I lost more than the money that I made and I'm in like a net minus and I'm trying to deal with it and I'm trying to share my story and my tragedy and how you should not do what I did. But here's the thing. Somehow, even though I lost $400 twice, it happened twice. I lost $400 twice. And somehow I am still up 1,000 American dollars. A survey says 90% of retail investors lose money, and somehow I'm in the top 10%. Still, even though I lost $800 and more. And you know, that's just how much money I made when I did make money. That's one of the main reasons why it's hard to let go. You know, you start thinking that you're actually talented at this. But I'm really trying to not do that because, first of all, I don't want this to be my job. Like, it would be something else if I wanted to get into like a hedge fund, and if I wanted to become a hedge fund manager and I wanted this to be my entire life, that would be another thing. But this is not my dream. I just wanted to say Tyler the Creator, man. But somehow it got to this point, and I'm just trying to let this addiction go. So some of you might be asking, why don't you just delete the app that you're using to buy stocks on? And I will. And I want to. But here's the thing. It takes 3 business days for the money that you used to trade to come back into your account as cash. But you can still trade with the money that you're supposed to get in 3 business days. And when you actually use the money again to trade, that 3 business days clock starts again. So it just if you keep on trading, it just keeps on, it just starts this infinite addiction loop. And I have not been able to get out of it. I have not been able to not trade for 3 business days. It is genuinely destroying my life. I'm laughing right now. But the thing is, when the Wall Street stock market opens, it's fucking 10:30 p.m. over here. And by the time the stock market closes, it's 5 p.m. And most business days, I am not able to fucking sleep. And it's ruining me. It's ruining my sleep schedule. It's ruining my psychology. It's giving me this intense anxiety about money in general. Even though I have literally thousands of dollars. Even without the stock market, I already had thousands of dollars saved up because of all of the tutoring that I did during the pandemic. Most people around my age are fucking broke. They're broke as shit. They don't have any fucking money. And somehow I'm the one here being like, oh fuck, I lost $400. Now instead of fucking $22,000, I only have 21. Like, I'm a fucking idiot. Some of you might be saying, dude, you're still up $1,000. Walk away. Just fucking walk away. And I should. But every day when I see the stock market, I see a chance to make money. And because I'm fucking good at math, I like calculate everything. I'm like, oh, if this happened and if I did this, I would have made all my money back. And that keeps eating me away. And these chances that I see are gonna fucking ruin me one day. And I know this. My addiction was in a bit of a worse place sometime earlier this week. I'm definitely at a better place with it now. I feel like losing $400 twice is kind of like a purging experience. Suddenly you're like, oh, okay, maybe it's time to walk away. Maybe it's time to stop here. So hopefully I'll kick it away within the next week or so. Hopefully. That's my goal for now. So moral of the story is, don't get into day trading. That's my addiction story. Hopefully the next time I make a video, I would have like kicked this addiction away. But let's see how this goes. Thank you for listening. Don't get into day trading. Just invest into Apple and just like get into a coma for 10 years and then wake up and double your money. Just do that, please. Jesus Christ.